one
Gio,
question.
hey, can I compliment you, Gio, for a little bit? Like, give me 30 seconds to compliment you. I've known you for a while now, and I love your stances on things. And I just love the fact that you're fucking staunch on shit. Like, but you are open to the way things could be. But
Okay,
God damn it, my words were so much
real
better.
quick, Tony. Real quick. Glad to see you're back though. Hey, Gio, can I ask you a question? If he's saying that there's an air mass pushing on the plane backwards, making it go faster backwards than it's going forward, how would that not be considered a headwind?
Well, I mean, essentially, in my viewpoint, what they've done with it. Okay, so like, if you have a foundational, like stationary reference frame, that's what we all experience, like the actual stationary system we're in, and then the land is on it, and the water's moving, and the sky is moving, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken that, and they just call that the inertial reference frame, and they say it's on a globe spinning. So they're hijacking the actual stationary universal reference frame and placing it into what they call the inertial frame, which is going along with the globe. Now, that is an assumption that physics would ever work that way, that you could be flying and hurling, but having it be stationary. So that's really where the core assumption is.
Yeah, it doesn't work because you have to have an actual force pushing the plane. You can't just say it's forcing the plane backwards faster than it's moving forwards without a force that you detect and measure and know about as a pilot. Right.
Because they say everything within the inertial reference frame functions as if it was stationary, which is why they admit, yeah, when you fly an airplane, you fly it as if it's just stationary.
Which is completely fallacious because the dynamics for it to push the airplane faster backwards than it is going forwards would be dynamics that you deal with, not just like, oh, it magically happens.
There's no dynamics. There's no force pushing the plane backwards or forwards either way.
Stationary.
In the air mass, you just don't get the fact that it's in the air mass going 500 miles an hour eastward. Both scenarios at the equator, at the northern latitude, both planes are going 500 miles an hour eastward. One has near zero momentum, and the one at the equator has negative 500 miles an hour momentum with respect to the inertial frame. It's very simple. There's no forces acting against it. There's nothing the pilot would ever notice.
No force, but it's moving backwards faster than it's forward.
You're confusing reference frames again.
Not confusing anything about reference frames. I'm not confused at all.
How would you
Everyone can hear that I'm not.
Is it being pushed backward if I'm going 500 miles an hour eastward at the equator? Would it not be going negative 500 miles an hour times the mass t equals momentum, which is negative now?
What's the force pushing it backwards? What's the force pushing it backwards?
There's no force pushing it backward. It's flying in the air mass.
How is it going backwards then? How is it going backwards faster than it's going forward?
Because the Earth is spinning and it's flying in an air mass that's going a lesser velocity, and it's going.
So the air mass is the force.
I don't know. We gotta stop this. Though. I don't know who else.
How can an air mass be a force without being a headwind?
This show.
And anyone else having an issue right now with this?
This is illuminating for everybody, just to hear.
Yeah, I would say so, Jack. I would say so, Zach.
You guys are back in that thing.
I would say so. He's totally exposed himself. I'm happy to stop here. He looked ridiculous.
When you guys are like, what is that, like Moe and Curly? Larry Moe.
Yeah, so he's saying that he's saying that when there's no wind at all, so just an example, there's a drone flying in the sky, right? And there's zero wind. So he's saying when there's zero wind, there's actually a force.
Yeah, that's how ridiculous it is. Exactly what they're saying.
Yes, because the tangential velocity of the air mass as you fly southward with that drone.
How do you measure that force at zero wind? How do you measure that force on the drone?
And how does it move the plane backwards faster than it's flying forwards without a force?
It's in a drone. It's hovering, but it's going slowly southward.
It's hovering, but how do you measure the force on it?
You can measure it. There's
how?
A change of momentum. There's a change. There's a change of momentum that drone would have as it traveled southward, because it would have to be accelerating to a higher tangential velocity as it went southward with respect to the inertial
without a force.
It has a force. The air mass is traveling faster as you travel. It's called a Coriolis force.
I doubt it, but we'll see.
Oh, I'm done. Go ahead. I'm done.
So
I'm done with this guy. I'm done with this guy.
Because you lost the battle.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't understand. That's the go-to. Must be that I don't understand.
You guys, hold on. One thing is for sure, you guys are talking past each other. So something needs to change in the
I'm
combo.
done.
Let
He
me
made a
just, okay.
fool of himself, and I'm done. Go ahead.
Are you
I
done
mean,
for real
there's
this time?
Yeah, I've had some thoughts as well. If you guys were not just kind of hogging the floor, if we all got to speak, we could just intermittently, like, then it's broken up a little bit more. Just let someone else get in perhaps as well. But, all right. So, yeah.
Let me
I would just say this. In a way, I would agree. Okay, I'll just say a little piece here. Okay. Heliocentrism, with their theory of gravity, there are certain parts of it that could be possible. And to me, in my viewpoint, I think it's worth considering and even, like, in a sense, conceding those, that they could be possible. And basically, like I was saying before, and I know that, like, New Perspective, you were saying you didn't agree, then Zanuck, you as well. You guys both, like, totally shut down, because it is all that process of gravity, which is sticking you to the ball, which is what they're calling the inertial reference frame. It's gravity plus a spinning ball, which gives them what they're calling their inertial reference frame. But the coordinates of that reference frame that they call the inertial reference frame happen to be a stationary reference frame. And then you get into the Euclidean and all of that. So they're just using that. So in a way, it works to their favor in one way, because even though that's just a theoretical physical concept and doesn't even exist, nonetheless, if you had something that was clinging something to something else and the whole thing was moving together, then when you flew around, just like the fly jumping off your arm and flying around the car, if you're in the car going 60 miles an hour, that's the idea in a sense. So, like, when we take up off the earth, like, it's the whole gravitational system that's pulling it together to, in their kind of model, to, like, reify that concept.
Can I ask a question right now? It might be a stupid question to you guys, but can we define Euclidean to where I can understand it, where we're all on the same page? I'm sorry, it might be a stupid question, but I would like to us all be on the same page when it comes to Euclidean, because the word comes up often in this conversation.
Is that
two words: planar and parallel.
Planar parallel. What's planar?
Yeah.
Like, planar is like a flat something that's flat. Yeah, planar.
All points are on the same plane. Yeah, 3 points create a plane.
Yeah.
I got at least 3 points, and then from there forward, yeah. And so then you have a horizontal and a vertical, and you have the X, Y, Z of physics.
But how does that work on something? How does that work on something that's spherical, though? Like, how does that work? How do you make it work on something that's spherical? That I don't know how to make my question any different, but it seems like, okay, so if it's a planar, that's flat. It's flat. It's a plane, but there's things that aren't a flat and plane. How do you deal with that? Like, I don't. That's what's fucking me up. Like, I don't get.
Well, you mentioned Euclidean, yeah. So Euclidean are they're planar coordinates, and all planes are parallel. And the horizon is made out of it's a line. It's a horizontal line, parallel plane to the horizon.
I'm eating Doritos. I'm sorry. So
yeah,
planar has to do with parallel horizon. It has to do with horizons, like. But everyone's horizon.
Yeah, the horizon is in a plane parallel. Yeah.
Yeah, but horizons can curve, though. I mean, they can curve. I mean, it's logical that a horizon can curve if you're on a body that's curving. Did that make sense? That makes sense. I'm sorry. I just, in my head, it seems like a horizon can curve. Like, there's no, the boundaries of the definition of horizon is what we make it. And if we're on a spherical plane, a horizon would curve to the sphere. So it's like we're arguing against two things that are different.
As far as, I don't know, anyone want to respond to that, or this guy's going to take over the show now for 30 minutes? Like, what are we going to do?
Wait, this guy, give me a name, like, for real, Jeremy. Come on.
Sean, we're gonna call you Sean.
No, it's
We
Tony.
already call Sean Tony.
No,
We call
it's Tony.
Sean G
Like
Tony
I've
now.
been here longer than you have, Jeremy. I've been in this
We
argument
call
way
Sean
longer
G
than you have.
Tony now, so you're Sean.
No, I'm not Sean. I'm Tony. Like, for real. Like I've been in this conversation way longer than you have, Jeremy. Like what the fuck? You know me. I'm giving you guys money.
That's the
I'm giving
thing.
you
I
guys
know
a
you.
lot of
Yes,
money, actually.
I know you.
I'm
Yes, that's the
contributing to
problem.
you guys. Your guys. This is the argument. This is what I love about this whole concept that we have going on here. We're all in this room.
Bro, this is
arguing.
fluff. You're just saying fluff, and like it's just filler right here.
Fluff.
We don't need the filler.
Don't ever say anything I say is fluff. It's not fluff, because I would never say anything you say. I would never disrespect you to the point where I would say what you say is fluff, because fluff.
You're
is
full of fluff.
And for real,
like
for
the
that's for real, man. It's me. Like, I've been here
Tony,
longer
dude, I
than you,
appreciate
man.
hearing what you were gonna say, but I guess the thing is, you kind of were just you never stopped there, right? So like, no one else could even go. No one else could even respond.
Wait. There's people that talk for like 5 minutes. I didn't talk for 5 minutes.
Well, I'm just saying you kind of been talking super duper long. So where are we at now in the?
Well, hey,
did you
super
want
duper? A super duper is a very fucking distinct fucking length of time. Super.
Give us like a concrete
point. Whoa, hey, Gio.
When you go on the table that we can actually have a combo about.
Hey, when you start from super and then get to duper, that's a long
it's all
time.
Fluff.
More fluff.
Okay, so what I'm saying is fluff right now. Okay, that's cool. Hey, Gio, I sent you a video. I want you to watch it about what we were talking about last night, because we had a good conversation last night.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks.
With respect to the inertial frame that Zanuck was just talking about, I'm wondering what motions of Earth. What are the motions of Earth we use from the inertial frame? Like, would we say the tangential speed at the equator is 1,000 miles an hour? In the non-inertial reference frame, or do we use the inertial reference? I'm curious as to which reference frame we use for that speed.
It's the frame that's
going. If you're flying if you're looking at things from the non-inertial reference frame, that means this is an environment for which you're looking at motion. We're looking at that plane. It's flying whatever airspeed it's flying in. You see it versus the ground. When you're looking at versus the ground, that viewpoint, that non-inertial reference frame is a spinning reference frame, and that will show it with respect to the ground. He wants to pull it back to some type of conservation momentum, that because we bring that up a lot.
Bro, this don't have nothing to do with
Coriolis.
what he said. Hold on, man. This don't have nothing to do with what he said. When we say the speed at the equator, the tangential speed is 1,000 miles an hour. Which is that from the inertial reference frame?
No, from the non-inertial. It can't be from the inertial reference frame from the non-inertial reference frame, because that's the spinning reference frame. From the inertial reference frame, you're seeing 1,000 miles an hour.
That's what I just said.
It's the inertial reference. You know this, yeah.
The inertial reference frame. So the inertial reference frame, and that's the actual speed of the Earth. At that location, that's the actual speed of what the Earth is doing in reality.
With respect
by
to
the way, Zanuck, just for the historical records, dude, I will look forward to when you actually start having the aha moment of what's actually going on with all this. I think you're getting closer.
So Zanuck, the inertial reference frame is gives us the actual speed the Earth's rotating at the equator.
Actual speed with respect to what? Here we go again, right?
Is the Earth actually in reality rotating at the equator at 1,000 miles an hour?
Rotating, yes. Its tangential velocity with respect to the inertial frame is
no proof for it other than in a theoretical model.
I know.
No, we have measurements. We have measurements that are very accurate to show that the Yodvos effect is one direct measurement of the spinning tangential velocity.
No, hey, can I interrupt?
Ether?
Interrupt.
No, with ether, you can discount ether by simple tests. But go ahead.
That's the vortex of the ether.
Okay, you can stay with that one if you like.
Vortex. What's a vortex of the ether mean?
I know. I'm just trying to point out though that all these speeds they get of what the Earth is doing in reality come from this inertial reference frame, and then when I use it, they say, "Oh, that frame doesn't matter." It's that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but hey Jeremy, your side's saying the vortex of the ether. What the fuck does that mean? So
No, I don't know about any sides. That's what I said.
That's a
There's no
circular,
sides.
like tornado. It's
That's
circular
what I said. Yeah.
energy that is culminating in one spot.
Yeah, no, dude, there's a flow of the ether within the environment. It's been known about since the beginning of time. Like, the idea of like the Tao, for example, it's in a lot of ancient traditions in the Vedics, and a lot of the different ancient.
I'm sorry,
like even Zen, like Zen.
Joe, I don't mean to interrupt. But
No,
you
don't interrupt, man. Don't interrupt.
What does Tao mean? I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you, but you said the Tao. What does that mean? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Dow Jones.
No. This is a serious question. I'm not talking shit. I'm not trying to derail the conversation. I don't know what Tao like means. Like I've heard the word before, but usually there's an L behind it, and it means a wooden fucking stake. So I don't know.
Sean's gonna do this for the next however long we let him do this for.
For real, like the questions I'm asking isn't fucking relevant to what we're talking about. Jeremy, for real. Jeremy, is what I just asked you not relevant to what we were just talking about? Be honest.
Move on. What were you saying, Gio?
I'll read a definition of it for you. Actually,
I just wanted to define the word Tao. That's all I asked was
let
to
him
define the word
speak,
Tao.
man. Tony, deep breaths.
Yeah, so it's spelled like Tao.
Oh, Tao. Okay.
But it's pronounced Dao. It's also DAO. It's like
okay, cool. Like I'm doing this. I only asked the question. Like Gio, you know me. I only asked the question to further the conversation because I'm sure there's a lot of people in the conversation that doesn't know what Tao means. Because I don't know what Tao means. So there's got to be someone else in this conversation that doesn't know what that means.
We might actually find out if you shut up.
Bro, I would never tell you to shut up. If I was in front of you,
Tony. Okay, ready? All right, Tony.
But I wouldn't tell you to shut up.
Tony,
we still don't know what it is.
Tony, just mute yourself for a second, all right?
Yeah, okay, sorry.
All right. So the Tao is the natural order of the universe whose character one's intuition must discern to realize the potential for individual wisdom as conceived in the context of East Asian philosophy, East Asian religions, or any other philosophy or religion that aligns to this principle.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I unmuted myself, but that helps. Like for real. Like,
and then let me read the next part too.
Okay. Cool.
This intuitive knowing of life cannot be grasped as a concept. Rather, it is known through actual living experience of one's everyday being.
I like that because it's something. I like that. Okay. See, that's all I was asking for was a definition, and that makes sense and it's logical. Like you have to. And then the
last part of it. Dao came from Chinese, where it signifies the way, path, route, road, or sometimes more loosely doctrine, principle, or holistic belief.
Yeah. So it's a way to get to the place you want to get to, and. If you were to break it down, if you're stupid like me, it's a way
through developing your own character and wisdom through one's own, like the way they use those terms, like to be able to discern one's intuition of accessing these different deeper layers.
Gio, I just want to let you know that I'm glad you own this site. I'm glad that you are the fucking captain of this site. And that's all I want to say. I'm sorry.
Fluffing you up. He's fluffing you up, Gio.
I'm fluffing you up big time. Like, for real, man. Like for real. Like, because he Googled that shit right away. And because I Googled it right away. And that's exactly what it came up to me. And it made sense. I was like, okay, I see what you're talking about. But that's all I was saying. I'm sorry if I interrupted or if I made someone mad. I don't give a fuck if I made someone mad. I don't give a fuck. Because I think, if we're going to talk, we might as well know what each other's words mean. And I didn't know what Tao meant. So I'm glad we, whatever.
Well, that got brought up in because of ether. And so what I was saying is that the flow of the universe, it's also used in a lot of different Tai Chi practices, for example, if you know what Tai Chi is. It's like a movement. It's like movement based.
Art of centering
Yeah.
yourself to the world, like to the earth, or just
Well, it's
center
like
yourself to yourself. Yeah.
It's like a movement based practice, and like the way that the sun, moon, and stars are moving, there is a actual flow of energy in a vortex within the ether.
Yeah, but when you say vortex, I'm sorry if I'm pissing someone off, but when you say vortex, Gio, it makes me feel of something that's centered. It all culminates to a center. And where's the center? When I say vortex, it's like a circling of matter or circling of something that connects in a spot. Or maybe I'm getting the wrong
It's the
definition.
magnetic field of the earth. Yeah, it's drifting along with the sun, moon, and stars. Like there's a layer of it that is flowing with that. But that's all happening within like a stationary coordinate system.
A stationary coordinate system, like so that someone
like,
had to have coordinated.
Yeah, like if you live like wherever you live or wherever someone lives in their house, that is that actual region. It's not moving at all. It's not like flying and whirling through anything. Like if you're in your house, if you're in your house for 10 years, you're in the same place for 10 years.
Yeah, and that's your location. I get that.
Like you are there. It's like, let's say someone has like in like a family property or something for like a long period of time. Some of these families do, things like that. Like,
yeah. There's a family here in Tennessee that they're all their skin is turned blue because they've, never mind. Let's just say in Tennessee, there's a lot of inbreeding. So yes, we know about families like having like roots here.
When Tony's done, I want to go back to something we were on before, but I have to wait till Tony's done. So
when Tony's done, like it's not what I'm saying isn't contributing to the conversation. That's what fucks me up.
Fine.
Is that what I'm saying?
Just wait till you're done. Just let me know.
Jeremy, it's not contributing. I'm contributing to the conversation. Whether you can understand what I'm saying or not, it doesn't matter. I'm still contributing to the conversation. So
let me know when you're done so I can do my thing.
Ask your question about the sun. It's not like you don't talk on here all the fucking time.
Well,
Jeremy. No, I'm talking to Jeremy. Like Jeremy, you called me out.
Thinking about that
Jeremy,
the other day.
No, Jeremy, you called me out. Ask your question, for real. Like I'm talking way too much.
Yeah, just hold on for one. Yeah, I was just gonna say, dude, I was like outside the other day in the sun, and
Jeremy,
what
the fuck?
I was just thinking how like. For someone to claim that we're on a globe spinning through a huge vacuum, that would have to mean that your house, when you go home to it every night, is not actually in the same place it was when you left it.
It wasn't. It's not in the same place.
I mean,
I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like it's not. It's not the same place relative to the orbit that we say it's spinning in.
Yeah. Like the actual space that you're within, you would have to believe that the space you're within when you're at your house, then you leave, you come back to your house.
And you can only be back to your house.
Back to is not actually the same as it was before because you have.
But Gio, it would be the same space, but it would only be the same space every year. Like there'd be 365 days where the rotation would bring you back to that point where you're talking about. So yes, when you say that, it does make me think.
That's wrong. That's not correct. You're moving through the galaxy at 1.5 million miles an hour. You're never going back to the same spot in your lifetime.
But actually, you're right, Jeremy. You're right. You would never be back. You would be back to that spot 250,000 years in the future, I guess. Yeah, you're right, Jeremy.
Even that doesn't match with the fact that certain areas on Earth seem to have very particular energies that are very stable and stationary, like whole vibes and whole energies in certain areas.
And a lot of that is in Austin, Texas for some reason. I don't know why, but Austin, Texas seems to have a lot of fucking vortexes.
Austin, Texas has vortexes? Vortices?
Yeah, of course, Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is the vortex capital of the world. You didn't know that?
What kind of vortex are you talking about here?
I have no clue. I just know the word vortex, and I said it. So
He's not saying anything. This is all fluff.
No, I've never said anything that hasn't meant something. I've never in my life have I ever said something or thought of something to say it out into the public and it hasn't meant something that I wanted to mean, Jeremy. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I've never. Who in here has ever said something that they didn't mean? That's fucking retarded. What the fuck are you talking about? People don't say shit they don't mean, unless they're lying to the world, which is that makes life worse. And man, you know what, Jeremy, I love you, man. I do.
Don't try to
You're
fluff
pissing
me
me off
up,
right
bro.
now, man.
Don't try to fluff me up, Sean.
Dude, I'll fluff you up. But hey, Gio, do you listen to that song I sent you? Anyways, Jeremy, you son of a bitch. Hey, wait. Can I just say, good ups on there's a woman in this fucking chat. That's amazing. Because usually there's not women in this chat.
That's not amazing.
It is. It's amazing. We've been in this argument for like 7 years, and like women are rare to come around. I just want
to say Blaze is here all the time. Redford's here a lot. There's Linda comes here often. There's women here. I don't know where you've been hanging out, but
no, I mean like consistently. There's fuck no. There hasn't been a lot of women. I just want to say thank you for coming in because sexual tension is the thing. So that's good.
Sexual tension? I'm not signed up for that.
No. I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like there needs to be like a counter to what I'm saying. Like there needs to be a counter. I don't know. Like with my girlfriend. Never mind. I'm just interrupting. Yeah, there's a balance. And the balance. The only way you can have a real balance is if you have two different sides of a conversation, and it seems like the best when you can actually have a conversation is when there's two different aspects of looking at it. And it seems
just having a conversation about having a conversation, dude. Do you have anything with substance to say? Something that's it has some density to it, not like fluff or nutter.
Well, I think Tony, just chill for a sec. Maybe let's kind of let the conversation breathe a little.
Oh man, I wanted to say something 5 minutes ago about the thing we were talking about when Zanuck kept bringing up the inertial frame with new perspective. That's how they get their speed. That's how they get all their stuff for what the Earth is doing from this inertial frame. Until I start talking about it with my thing, and then they say, "Well, that frame doesn't matter. That's not the real frame or whatever."
Well, so what did you think about when I was saying that they're taking the actual stationary universal frame and calling it the inertial, and then claiming it's all spinning with a globe?
I mean, yeah, that's what they do. They say it's not inertial when there's a plane flying. It depends on what you're doing.
They say both. That's what they do.
Yep.
They say both.
He's got it.
I mean,
that's a broad statement and a true statement. I mean, they meaning just others, peoples, as it were, in the world. They've been known. The human beings have known to have said both.
If we were to use the term, go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm good, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why the term dialetheism was invented, right? For this particular instance, because they believe in two truths at the same time. And in their mind, they can say, well, in this instance, it's moving. In this instance, it's not moving. That's how they do it. It's like, I don't know, man.
It's a non-moving, moving reference frame.
Yeah, there you go.
That is kind of what they try to say. Yeah. That's why I was saying I think they're taking those like the stationary universal coordinate frame and then placing that to be clinging around a ball that they then claim is spinning, but that whole frame is all spinning together to the point to where it actually can be treated as stationary, which is just a little like a mind, like just that this. It's just such a trick. It's like such a clear trick in my viewpoint. It's so clear as day. So those still
Yeah.
under the kind of spell of it, it's just a matter of time. I mean, they won't be under it forever. So I think all deceptions crumble. That's what they do. They naturally are in a state of crumbling and being broken down, whereas truth is always shining through and sustains through to the end. So the truth always will make its way, back to the people, even if it's been suppressed or removed from people's mindsets for, well, what are we now? At least 100, 150 years into whatever this current reset was, it seems.
Sounds about right. Yep.
I think there's periods of where truth prevails and where deception prevails.
Right in the top. Oh, sorry.
You can go.
No, go on, bro.
Oh, well, I was gonna kind of link it toward like astro theology, the sense that we're entering the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is like awareness, truth, and I feel like a lot of people are now starting to wake up to the indoctrination that they've been taught since they're kids, throughout school, throughout society, social shit.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. People are starting to wake up. But in this particular Coriolis thing, it's fascinating because if you were to hear this thing a few years ago, right, it was a total different thing. Like I was basically fighting upstream type of thing now. But now everybody got it. Everybody has an argument. Like Jeremy has the if you lead it, right, argument. Whitsitt has his argument. Rakia has his argument with the atmosphere, right? He took it to, okay, where does it stop spinning? I have a couple of arguments actually. The merry-go-round, of course, and the river, the uphill downstream river, right? We have so many arguments, and that's just mentioning a few.
Yeah.
A new perspective has the plane, right?
Yep.
Like
How do they land?
Yeah.
You got water. It doesn't bend. Not when it's in this container.
Coriolis, bro. What I just said was just for the Coriolis. We can go into the other ones, yeah, but just want to be clear. What I just said was just people that have arguments against their mythical Coriolis.
When they were talking about Coriolis, did they bring up Foucault's pendulum?
They do sometimes.
It gets brought up, yeah.
That gets
Well,
demolished.
SE, are you open to the idea that the actual phenomenon of the Coriolis effect, like that drift, is actually there, but it's just not caused by what they claim it's caused by?
Yeah, I think we've been through that. You like some sort of motion from the top, right? From the rotating stars and that. Yeah. When it comes to the pendulum, you're talking about now, right?
Well, like the actual, like the drift, the apparent drift that bullets make, as they claim, and then the minor effect it would have on airplanes, and then the winds, in the north and south, all of those.
Well, I look at that as two separate issues, right? And I'll tell you why. Well, three actually. Three, because the drift, this is what they claim. The drift happens on a pendulum. Then we have the gyroscope that Bob, God rest his soul, argument, where they say that drift, that appears to be a different one. Then we have what they think is Coriolis, which doesn't really happen on Earth because that involves a rotating frame and a stationary frame. And you can make them double speak on that all day. So that's like three different things there, Gio. I see why you think they're connected, and maybe they are, but yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to doubt that the effect is even there. Go ahead.
No, I just said yeah.
No, I'm starting to doubt that the effect is even there. I used to think it was there, but now I'm not certain, because if it was there, they would be flying these planes in the shortest path, and they're not.
Yeah, bro. There ain't no spin of the Earth. They forget
No,
about that.
just the effect. No, he's saying just the effect. If there's
How
something
could
else
there
causing
be?
that,
But Jeremy, there can't be that effect if you don't have spin. You have to understand that.
I don't believe that. What was the
Really?
thing they were talking about before, Geo? That some effect that translates in, from the sky moving into this effect. What was the name of that? The Michikov or something?
You're talking about the star pickup with the interferometer, that the Bob, that one, that kind of effect. Is that what you're saying? The star movement
Yeah,
translating some sort of that?
yeah, there's an actual name for this though in the science world. I don't know what it is. I forgot. They were just talking about it the other.
Well, first of all, okay, because there's a lot of confusion here, man. First of all, you guys know there is such a thing as the Coriolis effect, right? Everybody knows this, right? In case people don't know that it's actually true, there is a thing called the Coriolis effect when a liquid or a gas flows through something. That's the Coriolis effect. And I'm going to lay something on you guys now and don't start freaking out. There's also a thing called the Coriolis meter. I think I've said this before, right? There is such a thing as the Coriolis meter that measures flow of liquid and gas through pipes. So it is an actual thing. Now, when it relates to the Earth, right? That's not there. You can't show that there. I challenge anybody to show it. I've been doing it for a while now. But just know that there is such thing as the Coriolis, and there is Coriolis meters that actually measure this in industry today, and they had it for years. I'll even post one if you guys like. Here you go. There's one right there. Like everybody likes to make this so difficult. So it's not. It's just the flow of air or water. That's what it is. There you go. There's another example, a whole line of them. Now, when it comes to Earth, right, you have to have a rotating sphere and you have to have the atmos not rotating. This is the part they don't understand.
That's just interesting.
Yeah, it's simple, bro. This is not rocket science. It's just gas or liquid flowing through a tube. Now, as it pertains to the Earth, it's the Earth supposed to be spinning, and that effect is shown through the atmos. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. It's just that these guys like to, use fancy words, reference frames, this, that, and the other thing to confuse you. Don't be confused. There is no Coriolis on Earth. Period. End of story. And I dare any one of them to show it. They can't. They cannot show it. They'll tell you words, reference frames, bring you on trains, airplanes, submarines. They can't show it. Bet you they're scratching their heads now saying, what? Did he just say there's Coriolis meters? Damn. No way.